Joining us now is Mia Schlicht, Research Fellow, Institute of Public Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us, Mia. Former Treasurer Josh Frydenberg has blasted Prime Minister Anthony Albanese for his weak leadership following the Bondi terror attack. He made the comments at a memorial in Bondi. Now, Josh Frydenberg said that the Prime Minister bore personal responsibility for the climate that led to Sunday's attack, urging Labor to take a far tougher line. Listen to this.
Prime Minister, I heard you say yesterday that you're ready for the fight on guns. Well, let me tell you, guns may have stolen the life of 15 innocent civilians, but it was radical Islamist ideology that pulled the trigger. And if you, Prime Minister, can't say those words, Islamist ideology, if you can't speak them, you can't solve them.
Prime Minister.
Blood on his hands.
So, Prime Minister, you have failed us.
Big time.
Your government has failed us.
Mia, very powerful. This speech is going viral. Many Australians acknowledging that this is what real leadership looks like.
Yeah, I think at this time Australians are just desperate for some real strong leadership, and Josh Frydenberg has stepped up to fill that void here in Australia. But I think he's right in pointing out that if the Albanese government wants to focus on guns, then they have just missed the point entirely in this tragedy. At the end of the day, guns don't cause people to have murderous ideology. They just don't. Whether it could have been any kind of weapon, it could have been, we had the detonator in the car that thankfully didn't go off, whether it's knife crime, whether it's driving a car into a crowd of people. The problem is the ideology behind these attacks, not the weapons. And we had the Prime Minister who has spoken out, he's done some press conferences, he's put out statements, and of those 5,000 words that he has since spoken since this terrible incident, he never once muttered the words Islam or Islam extremism. Instead, he focused on it being an anti-Semitic terrorist attack. Now, my concern is that if we have a Prime Minister who can't even mouth the words Islamic terrorism, then we have a real problem in this country, because this was an attack on the Australian way of life. It was not just an attack on Jewish Australians, but it was an attack on all Australians. And we have a government who is far too preoccupied with tinkering around the edges of gun reform than actually acknowledging the real threat to Australia. And I think that's a real cause for concern.
I think you're absolutely right. And Josh Frydenberg also called for pro-Palestine protests to be banned, branding them incubators of hate. And looking at Anthony Albanese, he has shown no real emotion. I haven't really seen any tears or that much anger that 15 innocent Australians have been murdered. Let's look at New South Wales Premier Chris Minns' response. The New South Wales government will be introducing what the Premier calls the strongest gun laws in the country in the wake of Sunday's terror attack. Chris Minns said that he is considering removing recreational hunting as a legitimate reason for owning a firearm, as well as a range of other new gun reforms. And the Premier will also recall Parliament on Monday to pass a suite of protest restrictions. Let's just take a listen.
I have a responsibility to keep the community safe, to ensure that people can walk down the street without being in fear of being killed. And unfortunately, when you've got a terrible situation where people have been killed, mowed down in great number just because of their religious faith, I think it would be a horrible situation to see a mass demonstration. In my view, a mass demonstration on this scale would be so divisive for our community. It would light a fire that I think would be difficult to extinguish.
Mia, what do you make of New South Wales Premier Chris Minns' response?
Well, I mean, he's starting to talk about protests. Now, really, now you're starting to worry about these protests. These protests have been going on for 2 years. Every single Sunday, we had protesters out there chanting extremely anti-Semitic things, calling for the incitement of violence, and there's been absolutely no leadership on the issue. I mean, where was the Premier on October 8 when we had those demonstrations outside the Opera House calling to the death to the IDF and saying things like gas the Jews? Where was he then? But now we want to start talking about division in this community. I mean, make no mistake, this is Australia's 9/11. This is a day that we will never forget in Australia's history. It was an attack on every single Australian here. It was our 9/11, and we're focusing on things such as gun laws and protests. It just shows that the government here has missed the point. In all levels of government, state and federal, they're not understanding the real problem at play here. So if we want to talk about protesting, that's all well and good, but we've almost missed that opportunity because it has been happening for 2 years. There has been abhorrent things being said in this community, and I think they've missed the point.